gather in unity, all are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, uncovering who we are in our beloved community. Doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what you've undone. All that matters is you're here now. Keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity, all are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, we discover divinity, uncovering who we are in our beloved community. It doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what you've undone. All that matters is you're here now. Keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what you've undone. All that matters is you're here now. Keep an open heart, let Spirit work it out. Beloved community, we gather in unity, all are welcome here, all are blessed and a blessing to be. Beloved community, where we discover divinity, uncovering who we are in our beloved community, uncovering who we are in our beloved community, uncovering who we are in our beloved community.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Santa Rosa. I'm Betty Smith, practitioner emeritus, and I'm happy to be here with you. Let's give some more love to our band, our talented members. Thank you. Thank you so much for waking us up this morning. And welcome to the live stream viewers. We're so grateful to have you joining us from all over the world. If you have questions about what's happening at our center, we have a website, CSLSR.org, and it is filled with useful and up-to-date information. There you'll find our monthly bulletin by clicking on the photo of the typewriter. It contains everything happening throughout the month at our center. And there's a lot going on. We have small groups and potlucks and classes and bake sales and so much more you don't want to miss. We also have a thriving youth and family program for newborns or toddlers, elementary and middle schoolers, and teenagers. Our program helps our children and grandchildren get plugged into our community to discover and grow on their own spiritual journey. If you would like to get involved with helping Youth and Family Program grow, talk to Jennifer Caldwell after the service or send her an email at youth@cslsr.org. We are passionate about education here at the center. And if you're wondering what classes are coming up this year, just pick up an education catalog at the information desk. We have over 20 classes and workshops and book studies beginning in July. So I know there is something to help you on your own educational journey. We also offer scholarships for any of our classes that count as prerequisites to the prayer practitioner study. This is all explained on our website. Now, would you please join me in speaking aloud our vision and mission as a community? The Center for Spiritual Living is a spiritual community that promotes global transformation through personal transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. We are motivated by a compelling global vision that inspires us to bring gifts of compassion, integrity, and loving kindness to the world through our programs and teaching. Together, we are helping create a world that works for everyone. We followed this vision through the 5 core spiritual practices of our teaching. Would you please read those with me? Spiritual study, affirmative prayer, meditation, selfless service, and spiritual circulation. Today is Father's Day, and we would like to take a moment to honor all the fathers in the audience. If you are a father, please stand so that we can acknowledge you. And if you're a grandfather, please remain standing. If you're a grandfather, please remain standing. Thank you. And if you're a great-grandfather, please remain standing. We would also like to acknowledge that sometimes people have to stand in for the role of father, whether they are biologically a father or not. If you have fulfilled that role in someone's life, please stand so that we can acknowledge you. And if you're watching online, we would like to acknowledge the father. If you would like to acknowledge the fathers in your life, please post an acknowledgement and a photo of your father on the Facebook group or in the comments in the live streams on YouTube or Facebook Live. And thank you to all the fathers in our community. Your presence here is such a blessing to us. And now we would like to extend a warm welcome to our first-time visitors. So if you're visiting here for the first time, just stand or raise your hand, and we will bring you a flower and a welcome packet. And if you're watching online for the first time, let us know in the chat. We're grateful to have you too. Know that somewhere between the music and the prayers and Reverend Russ's message today is exactly what you need for your next step of your spiritual journey. You are welcome here. Now, please enjoy some music before a short time of contemplation and prayer.
Dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping dropping down, surrendering in love. Won't you sing that with us? I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love. I am dropping down to the truth of who I am. I am dropping down, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love, surrendering in love.
In this place of quiet, in this place of solitude, in this place of individuals making a community, there is only one life. That life is love. That life is divine intelligence and wisdom. That life is in every thought, in every word, in every phrase, in every action. That life goes by many names. The names, it doesn't matter. It is absolute goodness flowing through, in, out, over, as, and surrounding. It is whole, perfect, and complete, just as it is. And I am one with that life. I am one with that source. I am one with that power of absolute goodness, as is each and every person in this sanctuary and beyond. Each of us planted here, given the gift of humanness to show the world the divine spark that is within us as we walk around, making the world a better place for everyone. I know for this community and service this morning, the best of all, the best of whatever is in the music, in the prayer, in the message, in the announcements, in just the togetherness of all of us. It is one whole, perfect and complete. I give great thanks for this time, knowing that as I release this word, the law acts in each and everyone's behalf. And together we say, and so it is. Good morning. My name is Peggy Weber, and I'm a practitioner here at the center. I'd love to have you read the affirmation that is behind me and in front of me together. I am free from limitations and unstoppable in God. And so it is.
how fickle my heart and how woozy my eyes. I struggle to find any truth in your lies. And now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show. Lend me your hand and we'll conquer them all. But lend me your heart and I'll just let you fall. Lend me your eyes, I can change what you see. But your soul you must keep totally free. In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. Where you invest your love, you invest your life. In these bodies we will live, in these bodies we will die. And where you invest your love, you invest your life.
Good morning. Can we give some more love to our fabulous band? And I want to say a special thank you to Chris for learning that song. That is a very complicated song to learn, and I asked him to learn it, and he did. So, and they crushed it, as they say. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'd like to tell you the story of a woman named Wilma. Wilma was born prematurely in the 1940s, the 20th of 22 children. She was born in St. Bethlehem, Tennessee, and she had many health challenges as a young child, the most debilitating of them being a childhood bout of polio that left her without much strength in her left leg and foot. So for much of her early life, she would need to wear a leg brace. And I imagine that she had a pretty tough life. Undeterred by her disability, though, Wilma and her mother, Blanche, sought out help. For 2 years, they would take the bus to Nashville, where Wilma got medical help for her condition, and she also received regular massage support from her family and her friends. What a great family, what great friends. And because of all of this, she was eventually able to recover enough strength to relearn how to walk without the use of a leg brace by the time she turned 12. With this newfound mobility, Wilma would become attracted to sports in school. And so she started playing basketball in the 8th grade. And in her sophomore year, she ended up setting a record for the most points scored in high school girls basketball. But she didn't just love basketball. She also found herself in love with running itself, and she joined the track team, and her high school coach for her track team ended up giving her the nickname Skeeter, which is short for mosquito, because she was that fast. But she didn't just play sports in high school. She couldn't be bound by that. She tried out for the 1956 Summer Olympics and became the youngest member of the U.S. team at the age of 16 years old. And while she was defeated in the 200-meter preliminary heat, she would go on with her team to run the third leg of the 4x100-meter relay, winning the bronze medal along with the rest of her team, which, by the way, they only lost by 0.4 seconds. But that was just the first of many medals for Wilma. 4 years later, in the 1960 Rome Olympics, which was one of the first Olympics ever broadcast around the world, she made history by becoming the first American woman to win 3 gold medals in the same Olympic game. It's no surprise that at that point she was dubbed the fastest woman in the world. Wilma Rudolph, who started out as a kid who had to deal with the debilitating effects of polio, went on to change the world. Her story continues to inspire countless women and Black athletes. And after her Olympic career, she would go on to continue to support young athletes like herself, ultimately founding the Wilma Rudolph Foundation before her death in 1994. In fact, she was such a trailblazer that her ability and her conviction paved the way for so many women to find their way into sports that traditionally had been restricted to men. Wilma's courage reminds me of this phrase that shows up often in our Science of Mind teaching. And that phrase is that spiritual principle is no respecter of precedent. And that's a fancy way of saying that our spiritual principles, which are really the spiritual truths that we hold dear to us, that their power cannot be diminished by the conditions of the world. That's something. That's really something. And I believe that on some level, Wilma knew that she was a runner at heart. And because she knew this in the core of her being, she was able to find a way to overcome her physical challenges, to become someone who continues to inspire us today. I suspect that her mind must have been oriented toward what is possible rather than what's impossible. You see, I think her soul wanted to run, and so she found a way. In fact, I would argue that Wilma invested her love, and that investment helped to change the world. Now, I'd like to tell you another story. And this is a story about a girl who began her journey in a small village in Pakistan. And she was born to an incredible father who believed in the power of education. And so it's no surprise that she fell in love with school and she fell in love with learning. But sadly, when she was 11 years old, her village would find itself under a change in who was running it. It was taken over by the Taliban. And they began to impose restrictions on many of the rights and the freedoms that we here in the United States often take for granted. And one of those rights is the ability for women to get an education if they want it. Malala Yousafzai began to speak out in support of girls just like her being able to get an education, of their right to have an education. And she did this for years, but unfortunately, after about 4 years, her activism drew unwanted attention. And 4 years after the Taliban took over her town, she was shot in the head in an assassination attempt. Miraculously, though, and with much medical support, Malala survived. She and her parents fled Pakistan to the United Kingdom, where she and her father founded the Malala Fund. And the Malala Fund is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to bring rigorous education to girls and women all around the world. Her work continues to bring her attention. But this time it's the good kind of attention, because it turns out in 2014, she was the youngest person ever to win the Nobel Peace Prize. And I believe that in Malala's heart, she knew she had a right to an education. But she also knew that that right was not limited to just her. She knew that all girls have this right. And because her conviction is so strong, the work that she is doing now is helping girls all around the world become empowered by having their own education. Her spiritual principle was not bound by precedent. Her spiritual principle wasn't even bound by what happened to her. And because of that, she's able to help make this world just a little bit better for everyone. You see, Malala found freedom in learning, and now she's sharing her freedom with the world, and it's so clear to me where Malala chose to invest her love. And it's so clear to me how that investment is helping to make a world that works for everyone. Now, speaking of freedom, I'd like to pause for a moment and invite you to our Juneteenth summer solstice potluck that's happening just this Wednesday on June 19th. Juneteenth is a federal holiday that commemorates the day when the last slaves were freed by Union troops as they entered Galveston Bay in Texas. And I have to say, I really love our Wednesday evening services and the community that's there, because I see people making connections, I see people growing, I see people learning, and it gets me so excited. And so I'm really thrilled that we have this potluck that's coming up so we can share food together. And I'm thrilled that our friends Olivia Kinsler and Celeste Austin and Lawrence Edwards are there to share their love with us and how we can, and help us to understand how we can invest our love in each other. And so I hope to see you there. It's going to be a wonderful time. And of course, our fabulous Christopher Fritchie has some amazing music planned for us as well. I have one more story for you. And this is a story about one of my personal heroes, Father Gregory Boyle. Gregory Boyle, or Father Greg as he is known by the people he serves, began his career as a Jesuit priest. And his first mission found him in Bolivia, where he worked with some of the most impoverished communities in the whole world. Father Greg's heart was opened by the work that he did. And so upon his return from this mission to the United States, he would ask his superiors specifically to be able to work in a community that was suffering from extreme poverty. And so he was appointed the pastor of the Dolores Mission Church in East Los Angeles in 1985 during one of the most violent decades of gang warfare in all of American history. And it turns out that Dolores Mission Church was also the poorest church in the whole city. And it was right in the middle of 8 different gang territories. And so it's no surprise that Father Greg had many interactions with those who were at rock bottom. In working with the people that he served, he heard over and over, and the gang members, they call themselves homies, he heard from the homies that, things would just be so much better if I could just get a job. You see, he learned that they didn't want to live that way. They didn't want to be in a gang. They didn't want to be in constant violence. They didn't want to see their friends die every single day. They wanted more, but they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to break out of the condition that they were trapped in. So Father Greg did something radical. He did something really practical. He worked with the homies to start a business. And it turns out that this business was designed to give ex-gang members, ex-convicts, an alternative to the gang life by helping them to build work skills and helping them to find sustained employment. And so they ended up buying a bakery down the street. And it was at that moment that Homeboy Bakery was born. Now, it wasn't easy, and Father Greg shares this in his book, Tattoos on the Heart, which we have copies in our bookstore, I believe. And he shares how he has attended hundreds of funerals over the years from homies who were still the victim of the violence that they're surrounded by. It was not easy. But it does turn out that Father Greg and those who helped him were onto something. Homeboy Bakery would grow to become Homeboy Industries, which encompasses that bakery, cafe, silkscreen merchandise factory, and so much more. Homeboy Industries even offers 100% free tattoo removal, which, as it turns out, can be really helpful to help you get a job when you might have something inappropriate tattooed on your forehead. Who knew? And today, Homeboy Industries is the most successful gang and re-entry program in the whole world. They support around 10,000 people every year who are just trying to find their way back into society. Father Greg, it's no surprise, has won numerous awards for the work that he and Homeboy Industries are doing, not the least of which is the Presidential Medal of Freedom that he won just this year. But I think if you were to ask Father Greg why he does the work that he does, it wouldn't be for the awards. In a 2012 TED Talk, he talks about the concept of kinship. That when we can see all those around us, no matter how different they look, how different they are, no matter the mistakes that they've made, as our kin, well, compassion and love and kindness become inevitable. And when I first heard that, it really unlocked my heart. And that word kinship, it's very special to me because in our science of mind teaching, we have a word that's similar. We have the word oneness. The idea that no matter the fact that we all have our individual lives, nevertheless, there is this current of divinity that always connects us. I like that word kinship a little bit better, though, and here's why. When I hear the word kinship, well, I know that kin is a synonym for family. And so it takes it a little deeper for me. The idea that I'm not just one with everyone, but that everyone is my family. And so I often check in with myself on where does kinship live within me? I think it's that kinship, that heart of kinship, that's allowed Father Greg and Homeboy Industries to be as powerful a force for change as they have been. In fact, I believe that Father Greg's soul is one that is rooted in kinship, and it turns out that kinship is his superpower. Because I can't imagine the conviction and the courage that it would take to willingly walk into one of the most violent areas of the world and then have the audacity to love everyone, regardless of their mistakes. I suspect it's that heart of kinship that gives him that courage and that conviction. And so Father Greg's work inspires me to ask myself, just how deep does my heart of kinship go? His courage and his selflessness make me wonder, where am I investing my love? Wilma Rudolph, Malala Yousafzai, Gregory Boyle. They all have something pretty incredible in common. None of them allowed the conditions of the world to stop them from doing good. Wilma, through her running after overcoming polio, ended up inspiring a whole generation of athletes, some of whom had never been an athlete before. Malala, through her tireless advocacy for women's education in some of the most oppressive places in the world, even after getting shot. And Father Greg, for not just saying that everyone is kin, but living his life in a way that makes everyone around him feel like kin. I'm going to tell you, each one of these figures could have thrown in the towel at any point in their lives because they did not have it easy. Each one of them could have held back their love, but they didn't. And they didn't because I believe at their core, they knew in their heart that more was possible. And they knew that any barriers that they encountered along the way could be overcome through the conviction and the principles and the power of their heart. This is the power of claiming our truth and then living that truth. This is what it means to truly invest our love in the world around us. This is what it means to be unbounded and unstoppable. And so I'd like to close our time today with spiritual practice. If it feels comfortable for you, I invite you to close your eyes or soften your gaze and take a deep breath, breathing in and breathe out. And in your imagination, call to mind a barrier or a block that feels like it might be limiting you. Maybe it's limiting you personally, or perhaps it's a barrier in our world that you notice is limiting us from a greater good. Whatever that barrier looks like, just take this moment to observe it. Now, allow your awareness to settle down toward your heart, floating down as though it's a weightless feather. And imagine now that you are aware from the loving kindness and the compassion within your heart. Now, as you view this barrier before you through the lens of the love of your heart, notice what you see. How does the love in your heart change this barrier before you? And now, staying connected to that love in your heart, imagine one small step that you can take today to help you to move past this barrier. And feel what it feels like in your imagination to take this one small step. Feel what it feels like to invest your love to help you to move forward even just a little bit. Know that as you remain centered in this love in your heart, that the barrier before you holds no power. And so begin to imagine what happens after you take this step. I invite you to hold on to this first step in the love that guides you as we move into prayer. And there is only one life, one presence, one power that is unbounded and unstoppable. It is the very essence and nature of love, of wholeness, of peace, of goodness. It is truly everywhere. It is the source from which all of creation comes. I know that that divine one is everything, and therefore I must be a part of that. We must be a part of that. We are that unbounded and unstoppable power in every aspect of our being. And so I know that we are love, we are wholeness, we are peace, and that these divine qualities are ever the more flowing through us, uplifting the world, sharing and investing our love with the world, knowing that that investment always, always, always comes back to us with interest. And so it's beautiful for me to witness the investment of our love into one another, into ourselves, into this community, into all that is around us and more, knowing that in the face of this love, nothing, no thing can stop the healing power and the joyful power and the uplifting power of the love that is the truth of who we are. This is beautiful to witness, and I am just grateful to have the honor of witnessing this. And so with my gratitude, I release this word into that divine law of mind that always says, yes, my beloveds, yes. And I invite us all to seal this prayer together by saying, and so it is. And so I invite you to take another deep breath, breathing in. Let out a sigh. Find your way back to the room. And it is that transition of our breath that leads us into our spiritual practice of spiritual circulation. And spiritual circulation is one of my favorite spiritual practices because it's one that gets me related to the world. That's why I love it. It's the practice of giving and receiving, whether it's financial gifts or our volunteering or simply the love in our hearts. And so as we move into our practice today, first I invite our ushers to stand and hold the space for us. I invite you to call to mind that love that is in the core of your heart as we speak our affirmation together. Would you please repeat after me? I bless my gifts. I send them forth to heal and prosper. They do amazing work in the world. Ushers, please receive the gift.
Open your heart, unfold your heart, relax your senses, feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here, so take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you've come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Waiting, solely unhinge. Now you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here, so take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me, and don't leave out a word. Cause I think I have been there too. Well, I'm a seeker just like you, and you ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here, so take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Open your mind, unfold your heart.
First, I want to thank Reverend Russ for that inspiring message. Let's give him some more love. Our 70th anniversary raffle kicked off last Sunday. I've got my tickets. Do you? We have assembled a lovely collection of donations from some of our center members that you can win. Donations include amazing paintings and photography, gift cards to local restaurants, and bed and breakfasts, and a beautiful quilt that's hanging up on the back wall there. Oh yeah, and primo wine, really good wine too, a high value. I'll just put it that way. So you better your chances by stuffing lots of raffle tickets in the box for the prize you want. See Mitzi at the information desk today to purchase tickets. And be sure to check out those raffle tickets as you exit today. So as a reminder, we're having one community service at 10 a.m. on June 30th to celebrate our 70th anniversary. This means that we have to use all the parking available to us, including the west parking lot out that way. So who parked in the west parking lot today? Yay, great, good, thank you. So who can commit to parking in the west parking lot next week? Okay, thank you. Again, we're holding only one service on June 30th at 10 a.m. We're all very excited for our June 30th anniversary celebration. We have many people working behind the scenes to help make this happen, but we can use a few more people. If anyone is interested in helping with setting up tables and chairs, please speak to Alicia Carroll in the bookstore. And if you'd like to help with parking, please see Linda Han at the information desk. Have you ever struggled with mindfulness meditation and wondered if there was an easier way to access the calm, the courage, and connection within you? Starting Monday, July 1st, Reverend Russ will be leading a class based on Locke Kelly's book, The Way of Effortless Mindfulness. If you'd like to learn a new way of approaching meditation that is fast and easy and fun, sign up for Reverend Russ's class by clicking on the photo of the mountain on our website. And do you want more success in your life? Starting Saturday, July 6th at 9:30 a.m., Reverend Sayota is teaching the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, based on the classic by Deepak Chopra. In the class, we will change the myth that success needs to be hard. You can sign up today by clicking on the photo of the pink tree on our website. And Dr. Edward has a new class and a workshop coming up in July. On Sunday, July 14th at 1 p.m., he will be leading a workshop called The Beauty of Imperfection, where we will explore the transformative power of welcoming the imperfections of life. And then on Tuesday, July 16th at 6 p.m., Reverend Edward is leading a 3-week class called A Fresh Look at Affirmations, where we will examine our self-talk and learn how we can turn around what we say to ourselves. You can sign up for the workshop on our website by looking for the photo of the bird, and sign up for the class by clicking on the photo of the Milky Way galaxy. Both classes are offered on a sliding scale basis. And finally, our June Spirit Walk is just around the corner. We're going to walk the Santa Rosa Creek Trail on Saturday, June 22nd at 10 a.m. Dogs and scooters are welcome on this trail. You can RSVP and find out more information about where to meet up on our website by clicking on the photo of the sneakers. Our spirit walks are a great way to meet other people, share nature, and enjoy a little exercise together. That's all for today. Have a wonderful week.
So much, Betty, for showing us what's going on here at our center. And I've got a surprise announcement for you. Our teens are right out there in the social hall with a Father's Day bake sale. So if you're looking for some goodies to take home with you and you want to help our teens, support our teens go to teen camp, go out and say hello to them. I'm just looking out there right now and it looks like they've got flowers too. So there's all kinds of goodies that you can take home with you today. And we're so grateful for your support because after this bake sale, I believe that we will have made enough to cover their entire cost of going to teen camp this year, which is amazing. Yes. All right, it is time for us to close out our service. But before we close out, if anything's going on in your life or you would like to have one of our practitioners help you to tap into your inner love so that you might learn where you can invest it in your life, please go see Sherry here in the sanctuary. She will direct you to one of our practitioners who's happy to pray with you. Online viewers, you can also join our Zoom prayer online and get a free confidential prayer from one of our online practitioners. So please take advantage of that. All right, I invite you to stand as you are able and repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, life is in my body, and life is in my affairs. I think it, I feel it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life. Please know with me that you are never alone. That spirit is right where you are, that you have only to look within at any moment to know that you are guided, sustained, and inspired by a divine presence that is expressing itself as you in this world. In deepest gratitude, let us live our lives accordingly so that in everything that we do and say and think, we honor this presence within. And so it is. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the closing music and have a fabulous week.
All together, hand in hand, we see the light, we take a stand, and we are changing. A whole new life for you and me. You take your past and set it free and share this blessing. Love be with you, peace enfold you.